So the practice I created tonight, I created it as a wrist-free flow. So those sequences are good to have on hand occasionally if we're ever experiencing any wrist issues. So that's what I was thinking about whenever I created this flow, is a flow that just doesn't incorporate any tabletops, no planks, no downward dog, even no downward dogs even. So we're actually going to start at the front short side of the mat, standing in mountain pose, and we'll use the weights fairly early in the sequence, so you can just leave the weights up at the front short side. And then I'm just going to make sure that this is muted. Oh, great. Okay, so we will do a low lunge, but so the blanket could be there. You can take time to get that set up once we go into that low lunge. Just going to stand with the feet about frontal hip bone distance apart. And you can let your hands come together, prayer position at the center of the heart. So let your fingers spread just a bit. Feel your thumbs gently touch against the chest area. And as your thumbs gently touch against the chest area, you also want to feel like your heart is somewhat lifting back upward into your thumbs. Draw the chin very slightly down, so slightly below parallel, so that the back of the neck feels long and the crown of the head reaches upward. Taking a deep inhalation. Deep exhalation. Taking another 1 to 2 cycles of breath here in mountain. After your next exhale, we're going to begin to flow through some sun breathing. So just going to take your breath in, let your arms sweep down, out to the sides, stretch up, and then as you're exhaling, let your prayer hands come together, and then draw down into the center chest. And we're going to do that 2 more times. We're going to take a deep breath in, sweep up. Prayer hands come together, and exhale, draw the prayer hands down into your heart. And then very last one, deep inhale, reach the arms up. Prayer hands come together and draw down into the heart. You're going to take a breath in, let your arms sweep up again. This time at the top, when you're in extended mountain, take your right hand, catch hold of your left wrist. And then as you're exhaling, you're going to tip the body to the right in a standing side bend. So the right hand just gently tractions the left wrist. You want to notice the ribs on the front of the body. Those lowest ribs have just this slight draw in toward one another. So you'll feel the belly button draw in a bit to the spine. And then on your next breath in, rise up. Fingertips reaching up, and then your left hand catches hold of your right wrist. We're going to tip to the left. So opposite way, just tipping to the left and allowing your left hand to gently traction the right wrist, right side body. And then as you take the next breath in, we're going to come back to the center, fingertips stretch up to the sky, prayer hands coming together through the heart. Let your knees bend and fold the body forward, coming into the very first forward fold. So as you take that next breath in, the hands can either be on the blocks or the shin bones. We're just going to take a halfway lift with the spine. So you're going to lift the belly, reach out long through the crown of the head, and then as you exhale, just fold back into the legs, release and relax your head. Breathe in, allow your knees to bend, and circle sweep the arms out to the side, rise all the way up. It's going to go right into another half salute. So prayer hands coming through the heart. Bend at the knees and hinge the body forward, coming back into forward fold. Inhale, hands on the blocks or the shins. Lift the belly away from the thighs. Reach out through the crown of the head. And then as you're exhaling, fold back into your legs. Relaxing the chin slightly in, crown of the head down. Inhale, bend your knees and circle sweep your arms. Rise all the way up. We're going to take that just one more time. So prayer hands coming through the heart, knees softening as you hinge the torso forward, come to forward fold. Inhale, hands on the blocks or the shins, lift the belly away from the thighs, reach out through the crown of the head. And then as you're exhaling, folding into the legs. Inhale, let your knees bend. Take your arms out to the side, circle, sweep your arms, rise up. Prayer hands coming through the heart again. Let your knees bend. We're coming forward again over the legs. So as you come to forward fold, this next time, we're going to let the weight come into the right foot, and the left foot is going to step back. And then we're going to spin the back left heel down in preparation for warrior two. So we're going to catch hold of the weights in the hands. And so grounding through the legs and through the feet, you're going to draw the weights up toward the chest. So let the elbows bend, press into the feet, and then rise up, turning through the ribs and through the chest, arriving there in the warrior two pose. So first, just let the weights kind of stay in close to the side of the body. And we're going to breathe in, allow the right knee to bend. And as you're exhaling, just press into your feet and just allow your right knee to straighten. Let's do that just two more times. So inhale, right knee is going to bend. Press into the feet and exhale, straighten the right knee. And then inhale to bend. So we're going to leave the right knee bent over the ankle. Let your weights come out a little bit so your arms are forming more like right angles, heads of the weights pointing up. As you inhale, we're going to take the elbows and bring them out to the side so they're running about parallel to the floor. And then as you exhale, hug the elbows back into the sides of the body. So feel the chin slightly in, crown of the head reaching up. Breathe in, let your arms go back out to the side, elbows bent, crown of the head reaching up. And then as you're exhaling, let your weights come back in. One more time, breathe in, take the elbows out. And then as you're exhaling, allow the weights to come in. Press into the front foot and you're gonna allow your leg to straighten. So just take a moment, turn the right toes, so all 10 toes facing the long side of the mat. And then we're gonna spin the heels in just a bit and the toes out so that we end up taking the goddess squat. So again, let's just kind of pulse this just for a moment. So when you breathe in, let your knees bend a little bit deeper. And then as you're exhaling, press into your feet. Just give that pressure down. Let that straighten the knees. And then inhale, let your knees bend. Goddess squat, press down into your feet and begin to let your knees once again straighten. And then this time we'll bend the knees and we'll hold in the goddess squat. So we're going to take the elbows up so that the shoulders and the elbows are about in line, forearms running parallel to one another. So these are called shoulder shapers. So you're going to leave your left arm where it is for a moment, open your right arm out to the side, and you're going to bring the right arm back in and then open your left arm out to the side and then draw in. So we'll try to hold the legs in squat if possible, the goddess squat, but you can always straighten your knees. Open and close, and then one more on each side. Open the arm and close, and then open the arm and then close. Let the elbows come back into the sides of the body, press into your feet and straighten your knees. So just take a moment and just angle all 10 toes first toward the long side of the mat. Now we're going to just be swiveling to the second side of warrior two pose. So your left toes are going to turn to face the back short side of the mat. And then you're going to allow your left knee to bend. So the left knee bends, it's over the ankle, the elbows are into the sides of the body, heads of the weights pointing up. Here's the breath in, and now as you're exhaling, press strong through your legs and your feet and begin to straighten your left knee. And then inhale, allow the knee to bend. Press down into your legs, exhale to straighten the knee. And then as you inhale, allow your left knee to bend. So this is where we'll hold. So weights are pointing up to begin. Keep the elbows bent and then inhale. Let your arms swing out to the side, about parallel to the floor. And then exhale, hug your elbows back into the sides of your body. Inhale, open the elbows out. And then exhale, hug the elbows in one more time. Inhale, let the arms swing out. Exhale, hug the elbows in. Press into the left foot, straighten the left knee, turn the left toes to face the long side of the mat. And then we're gonna take goddess squat again. So spinning the heels slightly in, toes slightly out. Keep the elbows into the sides of the body. Breathe in, let the knees bend. We'll pulse that again just for 2 times. So press into the feet and begin to straighten the knees. And then as you inhale, let the knees bend. Take the sitting bones down, press into the feet and begin to straighten the knees. And then this next time we'll hold in the squat. So allow the knees to bend. Take the lowest ribs, slightly draw them together. Lift the elbows up in front of the body. And then shoulder shapers. So open the right arm to the right. And then the left arm to the left. 2 more rounds. Right arm opens. And then left arm opens. And then one last round. Open. And then left arm. Okay, let your elbows come back into the side, press into your feet, straighten your knees. Now we're gonna swivel the feet back around so that the right toes are facing forward, outer edge of the left foot running about parallel to the back short side, just like a little mini warrior two. So we're gonna start to turn the ribs toward the front legs. We're gonna start spinning off the back heel so that we can bring the hands down, bring the weights out to the side. So you might have to adjust your feet a little bit, maybe heel toe your right foot a little out to the right. So you're gonna put a bend in your back knee so that we can step forward. So press off the foot and then just allow the foot to come forward and then forward fold. Inhale, lift the belly away from the thighs, reach out long through the crown of the head, and then exhale, folding into the legs. Inhale, let the knees bend and take the arms, sweep them around and up. Prayer hands join together, staying in mountain pose, but exhaling to bring the prayer hands down into the heart. Take a deep breath in, let your arms sweep back up by the sides of the face. Prayer hands are gonna come through your heart as you bend your knees and fold your body forward over your legs. As you land in forward fold, halfway lift, so press into the blocks or hands to the shins, lift the belly away from the thighs. We're gonna step the right foot back for high lunge. You're gonna step the right foot back toward the back short side. Left knee lands over the left ankle. You're gonna catch hold of the weights. So maybe even to rise, you might put a soft bend in the back right knee. We're gonna draw the weights into the body, press solidly through the legs and the feet and begin to rise up. Shoulders landing over the hips. So that same position, shoulders over elbows, and then elbows extending through the forearms and the wrists. And then we're gonna draw the heads of the weights in toward the chest and then stretch the arms up by the ears in a warrior lunge. And then as you exhale, heads of the weights come in and then the arms are gonna release down. We're just gonna do that one more time from this position. So you're gonna draw the heads of the weights in, reaching the arms by the ears, and then drawing the weights in and then releasing the hands down. Now from here, we're gonna transition to low lunge. Now you can always lower your hands and then lower your back knee, or you can keep your hands lifted and begin to bend the right knee a little more. Left knee bends a little bit more, and then the right knee lightly lands. So definitely take a second and adjust if you need the blanket there. If you were using your hands, you can rise up. So scissor the legs together, left heel, right knee, scissor together, and then let's do 2 more of those, the movement with the weights. So heads of the weights come in, reach the arms up. Heads of the weights come into the chest and then lower the arms back down. Last one, heads of the weights come in toward the chest, reach the arms back up by the ears. The heads of the weights come in toward the chest and then the arms release down by the sides. It's gonna let the body come forward, take the weights out to the side. So you may want blocks for this, or the hands can just frame the front left foot. We're going to take the hips back and take a half split pose for a moment. So you're going to move your hips back. As that happens, you can rock up onto your left heel. If you need to adjust the left heel so it's slightly forward, that's fine too. So I always like to do this pose with a bend in the front knee. So that the depth of that bend will be determined by the muscles on the back of the leg. So if there's more tightness or restriction, you might have a deeper bend. So you're going to press a little bit into the left heel, almost feel like you're kind of dragging the heel back, and then you can give just a gentle bow of your body forward and toward your leg. Deep inhale. Deep exhale. Okay, so we're going to transition back through the low lunge. So the left foot will come down, the right knee will float up. You're using the blocks, you can shift them a little forward, press off the right foot, and let the right foot come down underneath of that front right hip bone. So take the breath in, lift the belly away from the thighs, reach out long through the crown of the head. And as you're exhaling, we're going to step the left foot back. So it's the same series on the second side. So catch hold of the weights, maybe a little bend in that back knee. And we're going to draw the weights up and toward the body. Press strong through the legs and the feet to rise up, taking the tailbone slightly down and the ribs, lowest ribs on the front body, draw together. Weights hang down by the hips. And then as you take your next breath in, let the heads of the weights come in. You can reach your arms up by your ears. Exhale, and then release. One more from high lunge. Inhale, and then exhale. Okay, now you can always transition to low lunge by lowering the hands first. Otherwise, breathe in. You're going to stay really strong through your feet. As you're starting to bend that left knee more, the right knee will also bend a little deeper. The key is to go slow and land light on the back knee. Scissor the legs toward one another, and then allow your elbows to bend, heads of the weights coming in. Stretch your arms up by your ears. And then let the heads of the weights draw in, and then release your arms down by your hips. And then this last one, heads of the weights draw in, and then stretch up. Heads of the weights come in, and then you're going to release down. Lean the body forward. Set the weights out to the side. You can take maybe blocks beneath the hands. We're moving the hips back to half split. So shift the hips back. If you need to adjust your right heel, you can move it a little bit forward. So keep the front knee at least slightly bent, and then have a little bit of emphasis on almost trying to drag the right heel back. Doesn't go very far, right? But there's just this physical and energetic sense of drawing back. And then take a breath in, and then as you're exhaling, if it feels okay on your back body, you can fold forward over the leg. So that intensifies the stretch across the spinal muscles. So if we have spinal issues or chronic, pain in the back, we always want to be careful of the forward folds. Take a deep inhale and a deep exhale. Okay, as you're taking your next breath in, you're gonna transfer back into low lunge, and you can move the blocks a little bit forward if you're using them. Lift the back knee, press off the foot, and step the foot forward. So coming into forward fold, and then use your breath in, lift out through the belly, out through the spine, and then exhale as you fold into the legs. So here we're going to take a squat pose as a way to transition down to the floor. So I often like to reach back and fold my blanket one time, and then widen the feet and slide the heels up onto the edge of the blanket. It gives a little just support for the heels, which also helps the low back. So the heels are slightly in and the toes are slightly out. Then we let the knees bend to take the body into squat pose. Now you can always use chair pose as an alternative. If there's not enough knee flexion in your body to take the full squat pose, you can also use goddess pose as a variation instead of this position if you find that that works better. This pose is awesome for the ankles, the knees, the hips, the digestive organs. Energetically, it's also a very grounding pose. Okay, one more breath. From this position, we're gonna come to a seated position. And so if your hips are really low, you may not need your hands at all. If your hips are a little higher, you can take your hands back, lean some weight into your hands so your hips can come down. And if neither of those work, just as gracefully as you can, you're gonna bring your body down to the floor. So we are going to take boat pose. You're welcome to stay up on your blanket if it feels like a pretty sturdy, stable base, or you can bring your sitting bones straight down to the mat. So there's possibility of using the weights for this. So we're going to keep the heels down for a moment. You can bring the weight into the chest. So you're going to begin to lean the body back just a little bit. So here you can notice the bottom of the sternum and the pubic bone, they can very slightly come together. It's a slight movement versus a big round in the back. Lift the heart up toward the heads of the weights, and you can lift one leg. Now you can stay with the one leg boat pose, or you can lift both legs. I like to scissor my legs together and hug the inner edges of the feet together. And then we're just gonna twist a little bit. So your body is gonna go to the right while your legs twist off just a bit to the left. You're gonna come through the center and take your weights in your body over to the left as your legs hug over to the right. And then again, twist to the right, legs swing just a bit to the left, come through the center, to the right, and the weights to the left. We're gonna do just one more round. So come through the center, twist over to the right, come through the center, twist over to the left, and come through the center. And we're gonna let the feet start to come back down, set the weights kind of back out of the way, but back toward your head. Lean weight into your hands, and you can take your feet a little wide. So you might be able to feel that in the front hips. So that position, boat pose, is for the abdominal region, but it also strengthens the hip flexor region due to the shape of the legs being up. Okay. So to balance that last position out, we're going to do just a little bit of bridge position. So just double checking that your weights are close by, and then bringing your body all the way down onto your spine. All right, as you get here, you can take a couple more windshield wipers. So that sway of the knees from side to side. Okay, and then let your knees point up to the sky. Bring your arms down by your side. So you can turn your palms down to the floor, spread through your fingers, and feel your shoulder blades kind of roll down into the mat. So the hips are still down, but your chest feels slightly elevated. So we're just gonna breathe in and press strong into the feet, and then let the hips begin to elevate up. So normally once I start to elevate up, I can feel if I have my feet too close or if my heels are in too close to the buttocks. So for this first one, you might take a second and just make any adjustments for your feet so that you have a level of comfort in your knees and your low back as we're doing these bridge pulses. So you can feel that hip flexor area that was engaged in boat pose, Navasana, open here. And then as you're breathing out, you can let your hips come back down. Press down into your palms, feel your shoulder blades kind of roll back and down into the floor, and then lift your hips. Just hold with the hips lifted for a moment. Take another slow breath in the bridge pose. And then as you exhale, take your hips down. And one more time, just feel your hands strong, your shoulder blades roll down and slightly together. Press into your feet and lift up your hips, and then just hold. Taking one more deep breath in. And then as you exhale, let your hips slowly come back down. You can take your arms out wide again and just a few rocks of your knees. Okay. So when your knees are coming back up, you're going to point the knees to the ceiling. You can line your heels up with your sitting bones or slightly wider. You're going to catch hold of your weights. That's one of my favorite movements to do with the weights. You're going to reach your arms up. So you want your arms to be about running parallel to one another. And so when you exhale, you're going to let your elbows bend so that the weights come down along the sides of the head, and the elbow points feel like they're kind of reaching up towards the sky. And then as you inhale, stretch the weights back up. And exhale, let the elbows bend. Inhale, reach up. Exhale. Reach up. 2 more times. Exhale. Reach up. And then very last one. Exhale. Okay, and then stretch up. Okay, we're just going to let the backs of the arms come down to the floor. Set the weights out to the side. You can pick up your feet and hug your knees and your thighs into the belly. You can always take your knees a little wider. Wider knees is a little gentler on your low back. You just kind of roll around a little bit from side to side, or you can even roll one leg at a time, kind of creating a circular motion as you're here on the back. Okay. So any final movements that you'd like to take? We're going to let the feet come back down to the mat. You're going to stretch your legs out long on the floor as you're ready. Let your heels release down. Let your toes fall open, and your arms can be by your sides, or you could even lay the hands across the abdominal region. Allowing your eyes to close and just allowing yourself to feel the gift of the stillness of this pose. Starting to come back, just feeling the weight of your body on the floor. Noticing the movement of your breath. And as you're ready, you can allow your knees one at a time to bend so that you bring your feet flat to the floor. And then gently rolling your body over, coming to either lie on the right or the left side of the body. And then pressing your hands down and slowly rising upward to your seat. As you arrive, you can let your hands join at your heart. The light within me sees and bows to that same light that exists within you. Namaste.